Hello Internet, this is LordMaddog, and I'm coming at you with another tutorial for my Souls-like RPG template. And this one is about AI, advanced AI, easy AI, whatever you want to call it. It's about making easy to use for dev AI. Okay, so let's jump right on into it. First off, we're going to want to go into our blueprints, and then we're going to go to data tables, and we're going to want to find our NPC action tables. So this is where all the magic happens. And we will talk about exactly how to initiate that magic and exactly what that magic is. And this will be a little bit longer tutorial because we're going to also showcase it. So let's actually do a little bit of showcasing before we start. We're going to showcase an NPC using this setup. It's going to be the fire mage here. We'll run over here. The fire demon mage here. We will argo him. Okay. Now, he will run towards us, and he'll use Fire Stream. Now, if we're a little bit farther away, he'll use Fire. Let's see a Fireball here. Yep, he's going to use. Let me get it about distance away. Fireball. There you go. Fireball. And if he were to run out of mana, which is not going to run out anytime soon because he has over 30 mana right now, he would use Mana Pool. But since he's got tons of mana, he's just going to be spelling off these stuff here. And I'm not going to stand around waiting for him to run out of mana. Well, maybe I can. Oh, there. Just a little bit more mana. Now he's out of mana, so he will use Mana Pull. Oh, he's still got more mana. Come on, use up your mana, buddy. Okay. There, Mana Pull. There we are. He just regained his mana some. I'm going to hit him once. That's to put him down below 75. Now he'll use Self-Immolate. There we are. And now we'll go ahead and, after we kill him, talk about his setup. Did you see that? It was pretty easy to tell everything he was doing, and it worked within a radius, so we're going to talk about it. All right, first off, we're going to go to the Fire Mage here. We're not going to talk about switching weapons. We're not going to talk about new action roll this time around, but we prefer range. This is how close the NPC will try to get to the player. The NPC will not try to back up to this point. Will always try to get within this range. So this is the preferred range. So they will run towards the player with preferred range. So if you have a completely a range class like an archer, which I have right here. Sorry about that saving. The archer has a preferred range of 1,200. All right. So let's talk about not actions first. We're going to talk about skills. So I have a skill system in my game. I'll go ahead and quickly hit play so you can show you exactly how those work. That took a little bit longer to load in than I was hoping. Move out of the way here. So a skill has a power, a balance, and a cost. All right. So each one has that. A power, a balance, an effect, and a cost. Not a balance, an effect. So, and each one of these things will do different according to each one they are. So this is my meteor spell I just made, and I want, this one would be my area of effect. And you can see my mana cost going way up as I do that. And then if I go ahead and use it. Boom. Boom. Okay, so you can see area of effect. I mean, cost. I mean, how that system works. All right, so these are the skills. The NPCs will have pretty much something similar to this. Now, obviously, they can't change their own skills. The devs does that. So we're going to jump and look at that. All right. So the first one off, we obviously have the fireball. Now, I will have to warn you that some of the skills I have set up, changing these things can make dramatic difference. Like putting the effect up or a fireball makes it have a massive area. So be careful when you're handing out points to NPCs because they can. You don't want a fireball the size of the Empire State Building coming at you if you go giving him 10 power and 10 effect. So okay, so his power. You have to look at each one of these skills does. Each one of the skills will have a description in their skill points. Exactly what does. So when you're handing out the skills, and you will learn how to make your own skills. I had to have a tutorial on that. Okay, so obviously with Fireball, it's a very heavy mana thing, and I don't want my NPCs really running out of mana, so I just gave him total 10 points in mana. And then for I didn't give any random points, and I also chance of gaining a skill point per point gain per level. So if an NPC has 10 levels and it's at 100% chance, that means you'll have 10 more points into cost. So his Fireball will cost less. Basically, you're going to be getting down to as low as it possibly can go. If I were to change this into effect, though, and he was level 20 and put it into effect, you'd be having fireballs, like I said, the size the size of Mount Everest coming at you, because the fireballs also go in magic power if you have a level 20 enemy with high effect. So this is the chance of gaining a skill point per that level. You must, depending on the skills you're going to be giving it, you most likely either have it 1%, 10% or to 100%, depending on what type of getting. So because we have Bost, we have power, effect, and balance. Balance will give for every 3 levels it'll cycle through it. So if I give it have it on balance at 100%, it'll go 1, 2, 3, and each give one of them a power, then 1, 2, 3, and give them each one a point. All right. Now, if we look here at Firestream, is a little bit different. As you can see, I have that set up just like that. I had give it 2 random skill points, is not all that important, and mana pool also given 2 random points. Effect for mana pool is how quick the mana gets back. So power is how much mana it gives back. And mana cost doesn't actually do anything on mana pool because it's an NPC only skill. Well, the player could use it. And then self-immolate is what he used there at the end to put a fire all around him. So let's go ahead and actually talk about how he actually initiates these using of these skills. We're going to go into actions. Now, this is where the actually use of the skill. So Fireball, we can see that as long as he's not within 300 meters of the player, and he is within 10,000 units of the player, he can use Fireball. And these health, they're pretty self-explanatory. You know, understand that works. So if he was down below 50% health, he would use these different spells, and then target minimum if the player health. Okay, use once. This means he'll only ever use the skill once. Used is range, so that means if there is times when the player is out of navigation range. So let's say if the player is flying, he will be set to is forced ranged, and that's just how I have my AI movement system set up. So if use force range is set, they can still use this skill if it's range and usable while low mana. It's pretty self-explanatory. When the NPC basically runs out of mana, it'll have set low mana, and it will use a skill it can only use skills that are use while low mana. Okay, so priority is how important the skill is going to be used. The highest priority will always be the one that's used. If you have 2 of the same priority, it will randomly pick between those 2, and it will try not to do the same one more than the same one again, but it will randomly pick between them. So you got to watch your priority. Okay, now we're going to showcase the fire stream. So this one, the fire stream, is the one where he was throwing little fire streams out at me. He can do it within 650 feet from me. And it has a priority too. So he will use this skill over a fireball if he's in range. All right. Then we have the mana pool. This is exactly what I was talking about, using while low mana. So we saw him do that. Once he ran out of mana, he used while low mana. His priority is of 0 because I don't want him doing this any other time other than when he is using low mana, because he doesn't need to be standing there. If I put this at a priority 1, or worse, a priority 10, all he would do is just stand there and go, mana pool, mana pool. So that would not be a good thing. And then we have here the last one I showcased is self-immolate. Now this one is kind of like a boss transformation. See, we have a use once, and once his health is below 75%, his max health is 75%, and he uses it. Now I would normally have this probably like 50 or 25%, but I was just for showcase, and it is the highest priority of my setup. All right, so you can see exactly how this works. It's very self-explanatory, and it makes things a whole lot easier. Oh, I forgot to talk about GAs. So GAs are the actual actions. So these are all of the abilities. You want to make sure when you select your actions that they're tied to the NPC ones. Some of these ones have player specific spells like the fireball. The fireball action is a little different than the NPC action. Okay, so you will have to make your own GAs and own skills set up, and I have tutorials on how to do that. So let's talk about the melee fighter one. This one's also pretty straightforward. We've got a couple skills. So we got the weapon charge, we've got charge slash, we've got dash attack, and we've got flare throw rock. This is his range attack. See, so you use it when he's out of range. Now, obviously, he can use a normal attack. Where do I have? Okay, melee weapon charge. This is just basically comes right off your sword, your weapon. So whatever the NPC is actually currently equipped with, it will use those melee attacks. So right here, light weapon charge, and I'll just go ahead and show these. This one's right here has no has no weapon switch, so we're not quite doing that yet. I'll just have quickly select our NPC here. Take a few seconds to load in. All right. Now, the first one we'll use is dash attack. If I get back a little bit, there it goes, charge slash. If I get a little closer, she'll do that. And then she'll use a heavy attack. And now if I stay within range, she will use her normal attack. Just like that. And it'll cycle between 1 or 2 times. Or 3 times, because it has the randomness of that. Now if I get out of range, she will use her throw rock skill. And she does not have any ones that are according to... So let's see here, out of range. She's probably out of mana, so she can't do anything right now. Oh, no, there she's using rock throw. She doesn't have anyone other skills than that. So you can see that's pretty straightforward. You can know exactly what an NPC will do and what can it do. Let's talk about switching weapons. This one's a little bit more complicated, but it's not a big deal. So we are going to go to our Archer melee guy. And we see here that he has a switched weapon to Knight's Blade, and he will be switching to Grunt Fighter. And his preferred range is 1,200. All right, so when you have a switched weapon system, you will want to actually have this. This is the arrow. We will want to have the actual skill of switching the weapon. So here we are. We have switch weapon, and he will only do once, obviously, and he will do it when the player is within 400 of him, and it is a higher priority. So, and it is usable while low mana. And when he switches weapon, he will be switching to our Grunt Fighter. Now, you want to make sure that you don't have it so they can switch back and forth, because what will happen is that every time you switch back and forth, if you were to switch back and forth, it would be giving skill points into, so as you see here, when he switches to, when an archer, it gives him 4 in power, which means he can actually shoot his bow a lot faster. And every time he levels up, he can shoot his bow faster. That's what power is for archery skill. Okay, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's shooting faster for archery. And then poise effect is actually does more poise damage, I think. And there's no cost on. Oh no, there is cost. But okay. Okay, trying to remember exactly what all my skills do is kind of hard. Anyway, so if I wanted to have him switch back to archer, I would make another archer one that he can switch back to, and it'd make a different melee grunt one, because otherwise he'd be giving himself a whole bunch of points in power, a whole bunch of points in one-handed weapon, two-handed weapon. So we don't want to do that. So you can have them switch back and forth, but you got to make sure that you're not giving them more skill points. So like if I have archer, have it switch to grunt grunt fighter, and then have another archer version that does not give any skill points. Otherwise, you're going to be making your NPCs back and forth. If they're switching back and forth between weapons, you're going to be making your NPCs super, super powerful with giving them more skill points. So let's showcase this here. Let's all run over here. Now we see him. He will shoot his arrow at me. That's all he has for skill wise. It's just shooting arrow. He'll shoot his arrow at the player over and over and over again. And then once the player gets within range, oops, here, he missed. Come on, do it. Come on, what are you doing? Stop shooting. I'm in range. Come on. What are you doing? Ah! You gotta make sure I have that set up right. I may have not had that set up right. Actions. Priority of 1. Usable at low mana. Any range. Switch weapon. Player within. Usable while low. Ah. Maybe because I have it switched unused once. He might have started and interrupted himself. Okay. Let's make sure we have him actually set up at the right one. So we'll talk about this in a second. I just exactly how he set that up. Yep, he's set to, oh, that's my problem. He set his normal archer. So that's actually what was going on. I have him set as a normal archer. Okay, we'll talk about exactly how that sets up here in a second. All right. See, there's an easy thing to do with messing up with AI. Okay, let's jump here. And he should immediately switch to melee weapon. There we are. Now he's just a melee gun fighter. And exactly as we expect. Okay. Now let's talk about the extra settings I've added. Okay. So over here in the corner, we've added a couple sections down here at the bottom. Obviously, he's a custom NPC. We've talked about that before. His NPC indexed. And then down here is his sight field of view and his sight distance. So if the 360 means he can see completely 360 degree around him. If you have, when I hit play, you will notice that I didn't actually have to come up and around him and to Argo him. He would immediately Argo because he can see 360 degrees around him. See, there, he saw me immediately. Okay. While the other guys, if I switch back, oh, we got to select this here, my spawner, and go back to the fire mage. And then we select the fire mage. Here we are. The fire mage can only see 180 degrees. So that's a little bit past the neck. So it's kind of peripheral vision, very much peripheral vision. And he has a sight distance of 400. Okay. Now, this use data table selection. If you were to go to, let's see, the fire mage will open up his blueprint. We will go, take a few seconds to load him up. We'll go to your AI component. Oh, some reason AI component's sticking up there for some stupid reason. And so we can, if I choose not to use data table, we will have to use this area right here, manually set up for skills and actions. So you have skills and we have actions, and I'd have to manually set the preferred range and whatnot. So we are using the data table. So that makes things a lot easier to actually get to. So we're actually using the data. Yeah, I said that already. We're actually using the data table. And then obviously the data table name that we are using. And I do believe that is everything for the setup. We have the AI component. I will open it up and just show you. It's a very simple thing here. Just edit AI component. In the beginning, it gets its owner. It's So, and the stats component, it hits whether or not to use the data table. If it's using the data table, it sets all those settings, and then it calculates skill power, and then we have update data table. This is used when the player is switching weapons. All right, and then this skill right here, this will show up if you do not have has no viable actions. Please add more actions to AI component. So let's say that the fire mage had the melee fighter lady had no range attack. So when I fly into the air, instead of the throw rocks, she had nothing. It would just sit there and spam, oh, you have no skill. So make sure you set up our skill. And that's pretty much, except for the actual selection utility, that's pretty much everything to do with this. It's a really clean setup. So it's not too complicated. You can go through here and see how it selects this, the priority of the skills. This is the random selection if it has two of the same priority. Select the actual selection. Select action here. So it'll get its variables. It'll run through here. It'll add it to viable indexes, and if there's no viable index, it'll give that message of showing. Then we're going to get priority selectables, and then we're actually going to select from our selections. So it's actually a really easy system, but it makes things so much easier than messing with these things, behavior trees. Because I have set up many behavior trees in my time, and every single time I have set up a behavior tree, I end up spending hours trying to get it to work, where compared to just having this system where everything's laid out so much easier. Now this is the default behavior tree for this type of system. It uses the AI component, and that's simple as it just tells it to do action right there, and it jumps to the NPC, the AI component. Now this here is during attacking, I do have it set up to have a chance to, kind of move left and right, circle at target at range. So it gives the NPCs a little bit more movement. You can easily just disable this if you wanted, or make your own data table. Anyway, that's everything. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, like, shares, and comments are always welcome. LordMaddog signing off.